In December 1872, in the vast waters of the Atlantic Ocean, a ship was discovered drifting, alone and abandoned. This ship was the Mary Celeste, and its story would become one of the greatest maritime mysteries in history. The Mary Celeste was originally built in 1861 in Nova Scotia. It was a brigantine, a two-masted merchant vessel designed for carrying cargo across long distances. Over the years, the ship changed owners several times, and like many vessels of its time, it faced storms, repairs, and financial troubles. But nothing, in its past, could explain what would happen in 1872. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste departed from New York Harbor, its destination, Genoa, Italy. On board were 10 people: Captain Benjamin Briggs, an experienced and respected sailor, his wife, Sarah Briggs, their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, and 7 crew members, all carefully chosen and considered capable and trustworthy. The cargo consisted of more than 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol, a valuable but potentially dangerous shipment. At first, the journey appeared normal. Weather conditions were not extreme, and there were no reports of distress. But less than a month later, everything changed. On December 5, 1872, a British ship named the Dei Gratia sighted the Mary Celeste drifting roughly 600 miles west of Portugal. Something was wrong. The ship was moving irregularly. Its sails were partially set and damaged. When a boarding party climbed aboard, they expected to find a struggling crew. Instead, they found nothing. The ship was completely deserted. There were no people, no signs of panic, no evidence of violence. The cargo was still largely intact. The crew's personal belongings untouched. Food and water supplies were sufficient. Even the captain's valuables remained in place. However, some things were missing. The lifeboat was gone. Navigation instruments, including the sextant and chronometer, were missing, and the ship's logbook showed its last entry dated November 25th. This meant for at least 10 days. The ship had drifted, without anyone on board. Investigators at the time were deeply puzzled. The ship itself was still seaworthy. It had some water in the hold, but not enough to force abandonment. There was no fire damage, no signs of explosion, and no indication of a violent struggle. So what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? Over the years, many theories have been proposed. Some logical, others far more mysterious. One of the earliest theories was piracy. But this idea quickly falls apart. Pirates typically steal cargo, valuables, or the ship itself. Yet in this case, everything of value remained untouched. Another theory suggests a mutiny. Perhaps the crew turned against Captain Briggs. However, there was no evidence of conflict, no blood, no damage, no struggle. And by all accounts, the crew was experienced and carefully selected. A more widely accepted explanation involves the cargo. The ship was carrying industrial alcohol. Some historians believe that fumes from the cargo may have leaked, creating fear of a possible explosion. In this scenario, Captain Briggs may have ordered the crew to temporarily abandon the ship, boarding the lifeboat while remaining tied to the vessel. But something went wrong. The rope may have snapped, or weather conditions may have changed suddenly, leaving the crew stranded at sea, while the Mary Celeste drifted away. This theory explains why the ship was intact and why essential navigation tools were taken. But even this explanation is not perfect. There is still no direct evidence that such an evacuation occurred. Another theory involves natural phenomena. Some suggest a waterspout or underwater seismic activity. These could have created panic without leaving clear damage. Others propose more unusual explanations, from sea monsters to paranormal forces, even alien abduction. But these ideas remain in the realm of speculation, without scientific evidence. In the end, the fate of the crew remains unknown. The Mary Celeste was eventually recovered and continued to sail for years, but its reputation was forever changed. It became known as a ghost ship, a symbol of mystery and unanswered questions. More than 150 years later, historians, scientists, and investigators still debate what truly happened. Was it fear, a tragic mistake, or something we still cannot explain? The truth is, the ocean keeps its secrets, and the story of the Mary Celeste remains one of them.